For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
More violence involving the island's students. What is the latest with Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, the island's Home Affairs Minister? And by now, should we have heard from Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre on a range of issues? I think he returned to the island yesterday, and also will be focusing on a recent police operation in the south, of all places, at a burial. Welcome to another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin. On Power 97.9 FM, we are also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. The broadcast goes up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'll be hearing from you momentarily when you call 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. The latest hurdle we have to clear involves gang violence, particularly centered around the island students. So these days, it's all about the 6 and 7 gang culture. Borrowing this from Trinidad and Tobago, I am told. Our police officers, they're already saddled with so many challenges. Right now, they're being asked to police the behavior of our students. And for how long now we have been discussing this issue? That of student loitering, violence involving our students, whether it's on the streets of our nation or in the island schools. What has happened to us over several decades is that a number of problems that surfaced were left unattended. In fact, not only unattended, they were ignored. While members of the public would have been calling NewsSpin to complain about those emerging concerns, those who were in authority did not do anything about it. because of a lack of foresight. They do not envisage, as is normal in a community, in the household, that if you do not repair certain things, maintenance is very important, that it will only worsen. The problem will exacerbate. And it will reach a point where you can do nothing about it other than to just lament, to complain, or, as is normally the case in St. Lucia, leave it to God. And so, as being reported on the website of St. Lucia Times, 2 teenagers were nursing injuries at the OKEU hospital on Wednesday after separate chopping incidents in Castries. According to reports, at about 3:45 p.m., a 13-year-old student came under attack by a group of young males on Manuel Street. The attackers had knives and machetes. Minutes later, a 19-year-old South Lewis Community College student also came under attack by a group of young males with knives and machetes. It was not immediately apparent whether the same attackers were involved. The principal of the Ave Maria Girls Primary School, Valerie St. Helen Henry, was in her schoolyard when the incident involving the SALCC student unfolded. A group of young males, about 8 or more, were running after either one or 2 others. I'm not sure how many they were chasing, St. Helen Henry recalled. She said the pursuers had knives and machetes in plain view of the public, including other students in the capital. It was really scary, she told St. Lucia Times. The Ave Maria Girls Primary School principal said she shouted to her school watchman to close the gate. By that time, other persons were running up. School children around the place were running towards Riverside Road, she stated. St. Helen Henry told St. Lucia Times that she later learned that the chopping victim had run into the RC boys' schoolyard on Brazil Street, shouting for help as he bled from his wounds. I didn't see people running away. I saw people running to see what was happening. And when I say people, I mean other school children running to see the result. The adults were screaming in disbelief, she said. St. Helen Henry said among the adults were parents waiting for students. She explained that other people were shocked to see several sharp weapons in the hands of young men in broad daylight. We have gotten in touch with ministry officials, and we will be getting some form of audience to look at how our schools continue to be safe zones, St. Helen Henry told St. Lucia Times. She is also president of the National Principals Association. Police are investigating the chopping incidents in Castries, the latest in a flare-up in violence involving students believed linked to the 6 and 7 gang culture imported from Trinidad. What are we going to do about this ongoing challenge involving our students being involved or being part of gangs and basically causing mayhem and chaos, not only in the education system, but in the wider society? More of our students coming under attack. It's cutlasses that are being used, machetes. Very soon, firearms will come into the picture. On this occasion, we have to see what are we going to do about this problem. It involves guardians, it involves parents taking greater responsibility for their children, whether you're talking about the girls or the boys. It also involves the necessity to beef up security at our schools and also having counselors at those learning institutions so that teachers do not have to play the role of counselors and as well as educators. There's a responsibility, a huge one as well, for the Ministry of Education. And on this occasion, you know, in St. Lucian Palace, we have to say poor job for our police officers because they have to deal with that problem as well. And we hope that the Ministry of Education will ensure that the police do what is required to deal with that problem. Let us deal with it once and for all before things spiral out of control. Things can always get worse. We'll be hearing from a regional prime minister on collaborations between the Caribbean Community CARICOM and the United States in trying to protect our borders and ensure that illegal firearms that are destined for the region from the U.S. do not enter the area. So tackling the problem from the source, and that is from the United States itself. So we'll be hearing from a regional leader speaking at length on recent successes. There was an operation which took place, of all places, at the burial site, the Latuni Cemetery, yesterday afternoon. You'd recall that the island's sixth homicide victim for 2024 was a 36-year-old identified as Rick Kisner. Well, his burial took place yesterday afternoon, and police descended on the burial site. They conducted an operation there. Many of you watching on Facebook as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel and see the police in action, searching a number of the mourners, those people who came out to bury the deceased. And you might say, why would the police descend on a burial site, a cemetery? If it takes going into the church to conduct various operations, I don't have a problem with that. If it takes going into the cemetery, don't have a problem with that. Anywhere at all. Because we must ensure that we do not leave any stone unturned in our fight to arrest that serious crime problem that we are experiencing at this time in our country. And the police, they have to be resolute. Likewise, the government of St. Lucia, the National Security Minister, the Prime Minister, everyone must ensure that we bring this problem under some level of control. But as we normally see on this broadcast, it is all about leadership. Some people have been elected and appointed to lead as far as those issues are concerned, and I have no doubt that the rest of the society will follow. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. Good afternoon to you, Kimani. What's happening in the chat room?
Good afternoon, Tim. In the chat room, someone says the system is a crime. Another comment, schools are no longer safe zones for children. Someone says some of these school counselors contribute nothing to the cause. You go to them many times crying for help, but to no avail. Someone is asking, why aren't they searched on entering the school? Another comment, this is sad. We all have to take charge of this situation. Another comment, I thought they gave a former police commissioner the responsibility for school security. Is it a matter of getting paid and not doing nothing, or I don't care?
I don't think he's responsible for school security, but he had to come up with some recommendations. And those recommendations, as reported on the broadcast a few days ago, they have been forwarded to the island's education minister. What is being done with those recommendations, we are not in a position to say.
Someone is asking, where are the parents in this thing? Wow, what's going on in our once upon a time sweet St. Lucia? This is just too much. Another comment, these are the menaces parents want teachers to tutor into angels. Someone says parents can't stop it, too much violence in the movies and media. Based on these reports, I can clearly see the situation is getting worse and spreading to our young ones rapidly. This has grown beyond counseling. We are truly lost. These are about all the comments.
All right. Thank you so much, Kimani. We await your calls right now once again at 452-2979. That's 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026, 716-2026. Can you imagine going to school right now, being part of the education system, Kimani, going to secondary school and having to face all those challenges because you have to study on the academics, getting good grades, and you also have to look over your shoulder because of those gangs?
I can't imagine a 13-year-old. That's absolutely... I can't even find the word for it.
What's the answer to that problem from your perspective?
Maybe more security at schools. Maybe more, I'm not sure, more education on these types of issues with children. I'm honestly not sure.
And you have to ask, where is the National Youth Council in all this? You know, such organizations need to be more, need to be very nimble, very active, aggressive in addressing those things, because there's no denying that somewhere down the line, if this problem is not seriously addressed, somebody will be killed. Students, young people will be killed in the process.
To imagine having a 13-year-old child and being attacked by a gang with knives and cutlasses. A 13-year-old.
Let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Please go ahead with your contribution, caller.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, sir.
You know, when I listen to children age 13, I'm sorry, good afternoon to you, Kimani, too. 13 and 49 gang. You know, Tim, I just have to laugh at that. Imagine my last daughter was 17 years to 18, and she was still under control. You know, my boy was at that age, and he was still under control. So when you have 13-year-old, we're talking about 13-year-old line gang 7, 9, and 16. Huh? But there is Osbert Regis who were not paid to take security of schools.
No.
He was getting, I think...
he had to, what he had to do was to come up with recommendations, sir.
But
Recommendations. And those recommendations have been forwarded to the Ministry of Education.
But that is not now, you know. So, I mean, Tim, if you go to that school, technical college, they used to call it Tech Walk before. That's the one just close to Bruceville, just at the nose of the gang area there. And if you see the state team of that school, the whole part of the fencing facing Shantytown or Bruceville, that side, that place, the fence fall down. It fell. And I'm wondering how teachers you're talking about can monitor what is happening in that school. I mean, the entire school is in one dilapidated state team. Serious, and I'm not joking what I'm telling anybody. I mean, with a camera or something and took photos and see the state of that school by Bruceville. So it's called Tech Vogue before, whatever. I think it's Technical College or something like that. And to see the state of that school team, you wonder, I mean, the security of that school is supposed to be paramount, you know. The gate at the front is in a mess when you come in, could barely close. I wouldn't mind if I prefer government go to Parliament and borrow money to fix those schools, you know. Put proper fencing, put cameras, security, and put those schools in a proper perspective. Because it seems to me right now, our children are just taking a pattern right now. And they're behaving bad. They're bad. Well, even man like me at that time of my age, 20, 34 years, I would come home anytime I want. And now you have 13-year-old line gang, 6 and 7, and so are they going to school with those machetes, those cutlass?
Why are you asking me that question?
No, but I'm saying they're running after another one. They have machete, they have knives, and I mean, where they got it from? Where they got that? Or if somebody probably gives it to them, or they hide it on the way, I don't know. I mean, I don't think the parents would let their children leave their home with cutlass and knives, and they'll say, what are you doing with that? Irresponsible parents. And whether responsible parents or not, any parents for a matter, any father or mother, would not see her son or her daughter go to school, leave the house with a cutlass, knives, I know my lady at time, my girlfriend used to search their children bag every time they leave in home and every time they come back home. And that is what some responsible parents need to do. If we already have a radical behavior outside there, and now to have that in the school, we're in serious trouble,
We are.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. WhatsApp message, somebody says, Tim, I find it hard to believe that all these good boys are creating mayhem on island. They must be good little boys because I tend not to see any police in the so-called hotspots in the city around after school or other busy times. See if we have some more of your messages to go through. Somebody says there, I saw that video of the police searching guys at the cemetery, and I could swear it was Appa's voice I heard in the video saying the police were harassing the guys, and that was not right. If that was Appa, then the guy is a hypocrite. Some more of your messages while we await your calls once again at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Just a quick recommendation for the government on gang violence is to get one of the police officers in St. Lucia who are certified in gang violence or bring in a consultant to help train the police in gang management in schools, because I think this is where the induction starts. And some more of your messages. Somebody says there, this is very serious with gangs and crime creeping into our school, a place of safety for our children. It seems that the Minister of Education has no plan and don't care a damn. What a shame. And more messages. I believe that the government, or I would say the Prime Minister, is playing on the intelligence of the workforce and the poor. From day one, he had a commission headed by Lawrence Poyot as it relates to a minimum wage and would make an announcement on Independence Day. So where is that announcement? I think we have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim.
Hi, good afternoon.
That clip, again, those clips, I know you don't have the time, but those clips really need discussing, because what we should have instead of just those clips we should be access to ministers of government. This business of ministers of government, or government officials, put it that way, interviewing themselves or confidently being interviewed by people they know will not push, or reporters will tell you they have problems, they have no time to go and do research. Okay, which I think you've complained about as our situation. They have to prepare the stuff for nighttime and so on and so on. That is all the more reason why it is imperative that government officials, including opposition, both sides, ought to pay some respect to the people who elected them and open themselves to everybody who wants to interview them. The more the merrier. We are a long way from that. The tourism minister's clip, the one you played before, on crime. Tim, I just want to bear with you. The highlights in that thing. You might remember it because you played it before. He says persons involved in crime, I have given the minister credit over the years for introducing that word persons, into the St. Lucia vernacular. So you don't have fishermen, you have persons who fish. You don't have pedestrians, you have persons who walk on the road. But anyway, that's another show. Because in this case, persons involved in crime should be criminals. I think you would agree with that?
Yes.
Should be criminals. But persons involved in crime should take note. We are not going to surrender. Have you heard that before? Anywhere before, Jim?
I've heard that.
You can get that out of
you could get that
of impact.
in the United States in the aftermath. Of 9/11. In the case of St. Lucia, whenever you have an outbreak of crime, this is being said as well by the leader
Well,
of the
I don't
day.
want to go tonight. There's got a lot of things happening in the United States besides that. But I wanted to talk to you about the coincidence, almost like a template of King used it, Kenny used it in speeches around the time of the ORC and the Operation Restore. What was the other one? Restore. Kenny's was what in '98?
I think, what was it, Restore Peace? I can't recall.
Or Restore Peace, or whatever it was. Anyway, same thing. Okay, so persons involved in crime should take note. We are not going to surrender. Those words are lifted from both Kenny's and King's speeches at the time of in 2010, 2011. We are going to fight, and we are not going to make, we are going to fight, and we are going to make sure law-abiding citizens in this country can feel safe. We are going to fight, okay? We are going to win this battle. Similar stuff, we will take back our streets. We will arrest them. We will prosecute them, etc., etc., etc.
So in other words, words, but no action.
I almost want to give you the word for word, but I need not do that. I need not do that. Perhaps what would be better would be to ask why you suppose that politicians feel so confident to say those things year after year after year. Let me just read a short paragraph. As a country, as a people, as a community, we cannot descend into helplessness. Does that echo like what I just read there a while ago?
Absolutely.
We
Yes.
have to fight. We have to fight. We have to resolve it, and we cannot. I had a hard time reading it. We have to fight it. We have to resolve it, and we cannot afford this. We cannot avoid discussion of it. We can't we, Tim?
We cannot.
Well, but we are. We now, because discussion is not just you and me talking on, or somebody calling you, or a couple DJ calling you. We now have to produce a new agenda to fight crime in our country. You hear that? We now have to produce a new agenda to fight crime in our country.
Where are you quoting
we
there?
need to be bold.
Who are you
we
quoting?
need to be dramatic. Hey?
Who are you quoting there?
Well, suspense, I'm a writer. We need to be bold. We need to be dramatic. You should also ask me how long ago. We need to be bold. We need to be dramatic. We need to be imaginative. We need to revisit all the approaches of the past and discard what has not worked. And we have to search for new solutions. Kenny Anthony, on May 20th, 2021. Okay? And now we have tourism minister basically saying the same thing. Not a word you hear about we have given the police resources. And you check, if you push, you'll find we gave them some cars. Back in the day of Compton, that was how Compton fought crime as well. Got the police some cars and made a lot of noise about it. You don't hear anything of consequence about the manpower. Somebody mentioned it to you, I think, earlier this week, or was it last week? That the presence of police is a deterrent thing. And at night, the police should be disturbing our sleep, Would you mind that?
Yes, I don't mind.
I wouldn't mind at all.
I don't mind.
Sirens and everything else, keeping crime on its toes. But in fairness to the police, we don't have the numbers. The police don't have the confidence of the people because politicians have made the police, because I'm being very careful, politicians have given the public an image of our police that reinforces the worst public image of the police. Did you get that? In other words, if we have been saying the police pass on information when we give it to them, if we are saying the police don't come out, if we are saying the police are themselves criminals, the politicians have underscored that officially. which I refer yet again to the impact report. So officially, the worst suspicions of the public have been confirmed over and over and over and not investigated. And at this point, I say it is a calculated move not to investigate what might prove troublesome to you at the voting box. And we're taking that lightly, and we just move from one to the other. The matter of school kids carrying knives and attacking teachers is not new. It's just getting worse as things will happen. Bad things don't get better with time, untreated. So the matter of the kids with knives, you know very well that has happened in Castries a number of times. We know it has happened in Vieux-Fort, famously with Morella Joseph. It has happened at George Charles. And we're treating it like it's something new. And we keep mixing up the bringing up of kids, the security of the schools, and so on. We keep, and religion and good parents and all that. We keep mixing that social problem with the problem of you cannot be safe walking the streets. That Beaufort has to close down. That ain't got nothing to do with children and mother. It has to do with killers, Tim. It is too late. By the time people are killing you with sophisticated weaponry in the streets and taking on the police, those people are not children to be treated by social affairs ministry or social workers. The police and the criminals organization we have is what should be the main concern as far as those killers are concerned. Those armed killers that we are told the police are themselves afraid of. But we conveniently mix that up with a child behaving bad in school, or maybe it's lucky for the authorities to have another deflection to talk about a kid had a knife. We have to stay on top of this because, it really is worse than a pandemic because you can't avoid pandemics by what you do, how you live. You have no way of avoiding getting killed by crazy people. That's why we have police. And the police is not a police force unless the government sees to it. That's why governments are responsible for crime. It is the government that determines how much they're going to invest in the protection of life and property. It is the government that determines the value of your life, the value of the citizen, and how much money they will put into a police force to have as good a police force, as opposed to corrupt, as clean a police force as you can get. We have to face the fact that we need outside assistance, a number of outside people, people dealing with science and so on. And we need to take seriously the matter of bringing up kids. When Alan Shastney complained, and that's what we do, because Alan Shastney was not the first. Lansico did it too. And Compton has said it himself. When these guys complain that people are having children and are incapable of taking care of them, it's not just money, Tim. If a girl of 20 has 2 kids, no man, and she's working at Sandals or somewhere, you really expect this woman will be able to afford babysitters and people making sure the kids learn? Government has to have a hand in that, have institutions for such things, Tim.
And you see, what happens, Ricky, very often is that we leave things to chance. So perchance that youngster was being left unattended because the mom is working and working late and have to get back to work in the morning. There isn't a support system. That child is basically raising himself or herself.
That's right.
And if down the road it ends up that child is successful, then we say, you see, there's nothing wrong in leaving the child at home unattended. But those are rare instances where things turn out positive.
You've just hit a button on me that throws my memory back again. Several years ago, over 20, I went to a school in Marshall, whatever, I don't really remember the school. And I was I just come back from the States. so impressed with the way the kids were running around, looking happy and everything. And I intermingled with them, took pictures, and, a lot of fun. And then when I was leaving, the school principal called me aside, knowing I'm going to write this great uplifting article. The school principal did not intervene. When I was leaving, the school principal called me aside and she said, Mr. Wayne, don't be fooled. More than 3/4 of those kids you're playing there are problem kids, seriously disturbed kids. Their mothers are either making the living as best they can. I think you know what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
And their fathers, those that they know, are in prison. And nobody comes to PTAs, etc. So what I was looking at there and thinking, these are happy kids. These were hyper kids. These were kids with psychological problems. These were kids, the only time they got a little fun was in the school. And when they went back home, they went to the dungeon. I heard another teacher. I was at another thing. Gus Small was there. There was this a meeting and something to do with the Ministry of Education. And I remember her name, she was a cop. I felt she's a relative of mine. And Tim, I kind of embarrassed her inadvertently. She made a speech. And then she came to the point where she said that parents were not coming to PTA meetings and so on and so on. So she and others took it on their own to go visit and to talk to the parents, only to find a number of those homes, for want of a better word, were run by the elder, the girl, or
boy.
Usually it's a girl there. The boys are everywhere else. And very often they found those girls had boyfriends, and that's how they survived. Children, 2-3 children, that's how they survived from school age at Marshall. I don't know what the level of school that is. And she went on, she offered that as one of the horrors we face with the education system and so on. So at question time came, when I noticed that nobody was asking the question, I asked her, based on what you said there a while ago, what did you do about it? And every now and again, she reminds me of how embarrassed she was and what an important question that was. Because Gus Small has also written about that. Nothing, Tim.
1 minute, Rick? One more minute, because we need a commercial break.
I'm done.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. This is NewsSpin, the most monitored talk show in the world. We'll continue our conversation, continue your calls in just a bit, and an update on the island's Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's funeral home is here for you. All our departed loved ones. Lazarus 7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593 or 285-3329. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Call 457-4433 to get bill balances. Use myaccount.lucilec.com for detailed account information and to make online bill payments using a credit or debit card or online bank account. Customers may also take advantage of SurePay's online or walk-in service. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Embrace the magic of the night with someone special by your side. KFC Chicken Nights, a love story waiting to unfold. Sundays to Thursdays, 6 p.m. to closing, just for $35. Share 4 pieces of delectable KFC chicken, 3 tender strips, and 2 regular fries. This enchanting deal is yours to savor at all KFC locations, because love knows no boundaries. Having chicken tonight? Make it finger-licking good with KFC's Chicken Nights, where love and flavor come together for a night to remember.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel, and shoulder pain, cramps, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more, so the tingo is more with flow if you didn't know. More WhatsApp video, that's the unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 to activate.
Now that's the new vibe and the lingo. Yes. More upon more, so the tingo is more with flow, now you really know. Get you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
The government of St. Lucia, through the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and Elderly Affairs, continues to provide more for pregnant women in St. Lucia. Through maternal and child health services under universal health coverage, pregnant women will receive laboratory and ultrasound services through community wellness centers island-wide at no cost. From care during and after pregnancy, vaccinations, family planning to nutritional and mental health counseling, we are here to support you. Take advantage of our weekly services at no cost. And from 1st June 2023, the addition of laboratory and ultrasound services will ease the pressure to aid healthier and safer delivery for you and your baby. Visit your nearest wellness center to register for universal health coverage. For more information, call 468-5300 or 468-5328.
Statement is long overdue from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia with regard to the situation involving Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, the Home Affairs Minister. One, The speaker who is ill, what is the latest? We don't really want to know the nature of his illness, but what is the latest with regard to his ability to continue to serve in that position, and also the resignation of the deputy speaker, and my information that he could be sworn in by next week as the island's Home Affairs Minister. So here's the latest update I have for you as far as Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot. You can recall that she experienced a medical emergency on the 19th of this month. 1 day later, she was flown to Martinique, and that is for medical attention. My information is she has been released from the medical facility over in Martinique. She was released on Saturday, but she remains in the French Caribbean territory. Don't know why, but she is still in Martinique, but released from hospital last Saturday. That's the update we have on Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot. Let's see if we can take this WhatsApp call as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, yes, I'm a regular listener of your show, but it's first time calling on the show.
Thanks for calling.
I am not sure what your topic is.
We don't have a topic. We don't have a topic.
I just want to point out. Okay, cool. Now, I just want to point out certain things that is affecting not just me, but I believe it's affecting the entire tourist industry. Tim, I'm reporting on what is happening at La Place Carénage on a cruise ship basis, on a daily basis, Tim, when there is a cruise ship. Tim, you have in front of the door, the business place, you have all sorts of characters coming and pirate tourists, okay? And there is nothing, absolutely nothing the authorities are trying to do to help solve that problem. I remember those guys who are at Point Seraphin. Now, I'm not sure what really went down at Point Seraphin. So they're not at Point Seraphin anymore, but they're at La Place Carénage. And it is such a disaster to see what is happening. You could actually compare a fish market and in front of La Place Carénage on a daily basis as the same. What I'm saying is, if tourism is our main industry, what are we doing to protect the industry, Tim? That is my question to Mr. Ernest Hilaire. We have tried all that we could have done to see to it that we could stop that. But there is nothing, and we are not getting help from the authorities, and nothing is being said. The more we try to invite the minister to come and see what is happening on a daily basis, he refused to come. He refused to, just to acknowledge what is happening. I believe the commissioner of police, the minister who's responsible for tourism, the mayor of Castries, the MP for Castries Central. I think all of those persons to come together one morning and just visit La Place Carénage to see what is happening here. The other problem is all of these things came up because, a lot of tickets were issued to persons who are not even in an organization, persons who does not even have a taxi. I can recall my eyes, I'm not sure if I'm blind, but I saw a taxi plate on a two-door Suzuki Terra. A lot of those things need to be readjusted, okay, and addressed as soon as possible. What I'm afraid of, Holiday Taxi is the one paying the franchise to operate at the Place Carénage, okay? And the other guys that are coming there, I'm not sure who they are operating under which umbrella. But as much as I know, Holiday Taxi have a liability insurance for in case something happens with the guests that they're transporting. So my question is, if something has to happen with those tourists that the pirates are taking away and we don't know who they are putting them on, if something happens, who is responsible for those tourists? Who is responsible for that disaster? Okay, Tim, so this is my concern.
Allow me to ask you a question. So what has happened to the National Taxi Union? What has happened to the National Taxi Union? Yeah. And what has happened to Mr. Joseph?
Lucien Joseph. At the time, Lucien Joseph was the president of Holiday Taxi. Mm-hmm. Okay, but right now he's not the president of Holiday Taxi. He's not representing Holiday Taxi. So therefore, we have made it clear to the ministry that the Holiday Taxi is not under the umbrella of the National Taxi Union because there is no benefit from that.
Okay.
Okay. We have also tried with the ministry to to see how we can bring the national taxi together. But there's only one person they're seeing is Lucien Joseph. Now, if Lucien Joseph is not a member of Holiday Taxi anymore, he's not a board member, and I believe to be on the National Taxi Union, you have to be a representative of a taxi union or taxi organization or taxi company, so to speak. Okay, but he's not none of these anymore, so we cannot be represented by him anymore.
Okay,
you
caller.
understand me?
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling, sir.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
Okay. So it's more of the same. I mean, we've been speaking about the transportation sector in St. Lucia, the persons who are providing taxi services, and also the pirates. Those people are pirating the various routes for so long now, and nothing can be done about that problem. So, February 2024, we're still focusing on a problem which exists and has existed over several decades now.
Can you imagine this morning? Can you imagine this morning, Tim? I sent my friend, because usually a route that I take to get to work. And I was messaging my friend saying that when I see these, how would you call them? These pirates with the tourists, they're haggling them. The tourist takes one step, you would have a taxi driver saying, do you need a taxi? Do you need a ride? They'll be like, no. And then another one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I was telling my friend, like, can you imagine how annoying that would be as a tourist coming to the island and you have this whole group of taxi drivers or pirates or whoever they are haggling you if you would like a taxi. And I was just saying that it's always a mess. Every single morning I'm passing in front of La Plaza and it's just always a mess with these drivers.
We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, team. Good afternoon, Kimani.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Wilson.
You always believe my identity.
The people know you. The people know your voice anyway. Yeah.
Listen, team. I am concerned, very much concerned about the murder rate in St. Lucia and also what is happening in Vieux-Fort and certain areas in St. Lucia, what we call gang-related gun violence. Now, I worked as the physician in Bordelais in 2008. And what we realized at the time, the trend was that we had young people between the ages of 18 or as low as 16 years to 25 or 26 or even 30. The highest rate of murder was among these particular individuals. Now, at the time, Dr. King, Stephen King, was the CMO, and what he tried to do certain programs for that kind of young people and to try to rehabilitate them. But of course, you need resources, and you need a lot of resources, and you need, of course, materials to deal with that. But presently, that situation in Vieux-Fort is actually out of hand. As we have seen, some individuals or many individuals have closed their businesses in the center of Vieux-Fort and have moved out of Vieux-Fort. Some people are complaining. I had a particular patient, she said she had to leave Vieux-Fort, close her shop, take her children out of Vieux-Fort because of the gun violence, and some of the guys are on the streets with guns and running after each other with masks and guns in broad daylight. So I think the St. Lucian government has to take the fight to the criminals. That idea of just random search and random operations, I think that doesn't work. I think there needs to be a state of emergency in certain areas, and we need the outside help, whether within CARICOM that thing is discussed with heads of government that we need an outside police, because I don't think our police, not only that they are at risk, in the sense that who knows who and who doesn't know who, and of course that thing is not effective. So we need the outside, a assistance to deal with that. And at CARICOM heads right now, I think our Prime Minister needs to talk and need to find that help and assistance to get the criminals or get the gangs or dismantle the gangs in that area. Now, looking at why has that situation got to that particular stage? You know, as we said, you have a number of young people who are not parents. The parents are either working in the hotels or never around. And of course, these children are not supervised. They're not in school. They're loitering on the streets. They're all in town dealing with it. The gangs, the heads of the gangs in certain areas have become their parents, or they are role models to these kinds of individuals. So we have a generation that is lost. All right. So we have to look at our young people, especially the ages of 16 to 30, and we are losing them. Either we are losing them, we are losing them in murder, okay, and violence, because we cannot say in 2 months, all right, February, we are just ending February, which is 8 weeks, and we have 19 murders. 19 murders, all right, and mostly young people. So we need to get the intelligence to infiltrate these gangs. We need outside help. We need to deal with that situation with our young people, especially in Beaufort. And in addition to the violence in that kind of area, the mental issues that are developing with our young people. Can you imagine people being shot in the areas that are still like in Bruceville and so on? What is the impact on the other children in the area? What is the impact of the people in the area? The anxiety, all right? The neurosis, the post-traumatic stress disorder, even the physical disability that happens after the violence. Maybe some who might survive, they cannot take care of some of these young people that are now paralyzed, that cannot have a future. So a number of issues are developing in certain communities in our country, and I think our government needs to look at it very, 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 very seriously, because we are losing a generation. And I'm telling you, that started, or in other words, it was already bad in 2008. Mr. Small used to be head of the prison at that time. All right? Mr. Small and the other, Mr. Herman. And of course, we had that young offenders on murder charges. So if we do not do something about it right now, we will find ourselves either like Haiti or El Salvador.
Okay, ma'am.
Although El Salvador is dealing with its situation. But we need to salvage that generation that we have 18 to 30.
Okay, Doc. Thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Just said there from Dr. Sylvia Wilson. What's happening in the chat room, Kimani?
In the chat room, someone says, it feels hopeless living in SLU. Depressing. The government has no face before the criminals. Crime is being encouraged within the government. Inside cabinet is a lawbreaker. That is why we see what we see now. A YouTube comment, someone says, remember that the rod has been spared and the children spoiled. Also remember, stop searching school bags. This is the result of the lack of discipline. Say it again, Mr. Wayne. They criticized Mr. Shastny for saying so. The wicked government that is there now, they are now encouraging young women to have more children. The Lord hears and knows everything we do and say. Wait and see. Tim, we have to first take a look at the people in our parliament, their behavior and the constant disrespect for each other. Some of them are always ready to fight. The children are watching. It is very scary. And we also have to remember our teachers have to deal with these children daily. Tim, we have a serious situation on our hands and need to take a holistic approach to deal with it. All hands must be on deck. Another comment, they need to take cable away. They need to go back to the time when TV was 5 a.m. to 12 p.m.
We can't go back to those days at all. It's not possible.
It's progressive, I think.
Yeah, everybody has a phone now. People have Netflix, people get to watch movies on YouTube. So I think we just need to police ourselves as individuals to a certain extent, police our homes, and of course the police must police the wider St. Lucian society in addition to whatever government can do in terms of various interventions.
Someone says they need to bring back impacts, ORC. Discipline, value, respect are out of the window. No mentor, no role model, so what do you expect? Someone says, caller, you're not speaking the truth. The school is not in a bad state. Another comment, if impacts ORC was still there, these crimes would stop. You'll hear what the president of the Philippines used to tell his military when the gangsters and drug dealers kept the place hot and drugs was killing the people. Shoot puchwe? Is that what the person was trying to say? Another comment, in my days, I had to be at home before 4 p.m., school over at 3 p.m.
Our question of the day, at what stage should we say enough is enough? Our NewsSpin question of the day, at what stage should we say enough is enough? Your responses, I think it's about time. Another person says right now, and we are reiterating, enough is too much already. And some more comments. Somebody says, as of from today, from 12:30 p.m. Another one says, if the people don't say it's enough now, they will never say it. Another one, probably when the country gets in the same situation like Haiti, St. Lucians is all about talking and playing politics until reality hits them. Another one says, we have said since they won in 2021. Another comment, it's past that stage, Tim. Our cries are falling on deaf ears. And enough should have been enough from the time the Prime Minister came in and expunged all the COVID lawbreakers. This is actually interfering with the justice system. Some more of your reaction once again to our NewsSpin question of the day. At what stage should we say enough is enough? Somebody says, have we not been saying that since 2022? I think you're asking the wrong question. It should be, since we have had enough, what are we going to do now? Another one, right now it's enough, no time to waste. And somebody also says, you cannot say enough is enough if you feel helpless with no backup. Only with backup you can say enough is enough. Some of your responses to our NewsSpin question of the day. At what stage should we say enough is enough? Still to come on the broadcast, we'll be hearing from a regional prime minister speaking about recent interventions between CARICOM and the United States, who they have collaborated. And the result of this, you'll be hearing from him momentarily as we continue to broadcast another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Coming soon, the same excellent Lucelec service in a new location at Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci, Castries. Thanks for your patience.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more wet flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More More pan, more with flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video cast app, unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 $ to activate.
Now that's the new vibe in the lingo. Yes. More pan, more sell the tingo. It's more with flow, now you really know. Catch it now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
An exquisite 3-bedroom modern villa, panoramic ocean views, well-equipped modern appliances, a plunge pool. Bon Esprit Villa. For that quiet getaway in a lush green space. Your home away from home. Understated decadence, tranquility, and harmony. For special occasions and weekend getaways, the perfect escape. Bon Esprit Villa. Book now. Call 486-7965.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel, and shoulder pain, cramps, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Gouvernement Saint-Lucie qui travaille avec ministre pour santé bien portant, ex affaires grand monde et ka offert plus pour femmes qui enceintes en Saint-Lucie. En bas plan Universal Health Coverage avec service pour maman et riche, provision déjà faite pour femmes enceintes joindre service laboratoire et sondage sans payer des sous. Yo ka joindre aussi vaccine, conseil pour bâtir famille, information à sous nourriture et conseil pour santé sévère. Nous là pour supporter vous. Venez et prendre l'avantage de service là tous les semaines sans payer des sous. Commencez le 1er juin 2023. Service laboratoire et sondage pour un lien qui aide à mettre femmes enceintes en plus bonne santé et fait plus sauve pour maman et riche. Visitez Health Center qui plus pour là et enregistrez pour Universal Health Coverage. Pour plus d'informations, 468.
KFC Chicken Nights, a love story waiting to unfold. Sundays to Thursdays, 6 p.m. to closing, just for $35. Share 4 pieces of delectable KFC chicken, 3 tender strips, and 2 regular fries. This enchanting deal is yours to savor at all KFC locations because love knows no boundaries. Having chicken tonight? Make it finger-licking good with KFC's Chicken Nights, where love and flavor come together for a night to remember.
On Easter Sunday, the biggest brunch party in the West returns. Rise 4, the celebration. Easter Sunday, March 31st, Soufriere Mini Stadium. Featuring international sensation Tennyson John and the DJ Project live. Also, MTX, A1 Jugglers, Sir Lancelot, Hype Kid, DJ JH Ndalo, Levi Chin, DJ Irv, Power FM DJs, MC Donnerville. Easter Sunday from 12 noon. We rise.
Look at people in here tonight. Dance with me, baby.
Regular tickets are $80 and $350 for VIP terrace area. Get your tickets online at www.fourcirclestickets.com. Mambo's Bar and Courts in Soufre and Courts Ready Cash island-wide. Get VIP and group tickets with no cash at Courts Ready Cash. Dress code Slay in Orange. Rise 4. The Celebration, an Optimum event production. Platinum sponsors, Courts Ready Cash and Power 97.9 FM. Gold sponsor, Bank of St. Lucia. Other sponsors, Digicel, Piton Beer, Strongbow, and Island Sound.
I am the whole blinking market.
Message: whatever happened to the Bicycle City police officers? They created a presence in the city. Now these school children are causing havoc in town on a daily basis. I saw some of them this morning riding along the John Compton Highway. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Tim, let's send for the president of the Philippines to get rid of those criminals, just like he did to the drug dealers in his country. Incidentally, that individual you're referring there to is Duterte, and is no longer the president of the Philippines. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Oh, is it brother? Good afternoon to you, brother. Brother Harris.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I know you don't have a lot of time. I'm going to give you a phone, and I alone can call on that phone. It's very difficult to get.
But a sister called yesterday. You heard her?
Yeah, I heard everything. I called already.
You called already, and you'll take care of her?
That's between me and she.
Okay.
Okay, big man.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Tim, I just want I know your time is running out. Tim, it seems more things happen is the more we don't learn. We don't learn from our mistakes, it looks in St. Lucia. You know, I heard the Ministry of Tourism said something, if I heard right. Because to tell you the truth, I don't really listen to news like that. The news are disgusting and it gets me upset. So my doctor advised me to try and stay away from that. But I think I heard the Minister of Tourism say something about the former tourism minister about some deal or something like that. And he said, if I heard right, he's not sure, but he's going to investigate. And if that is so, then he'll take action. What I'm saying, Tim, we like to rush. We must be very careful. If you get anything against anybody, you investigate first before you make any announcement.
Mm-hmm.
You investigate, get your facts straight, just like a news reporter, and then you come out. When you do something like that, and then it happens that nothing was done wrong, that brings more division in the country. It brings more division. It don't unite people. So that's why we want to really, we have to take our times and do things the right way. We are shouting about the school. Tim, that school thing started, as I always say, all these we're going for in St. Lucia started years ago, 79. We fought against each other. It was violence pushing from politicians and so on. What happened? Now it has gotten worse because as St. Lucians, we never want to say about a problem when it starts. We just put it under the table and we hope that people will forget and it goes away. But it's not like that. It stays in the young people especially, and they grow up with that. It's like a cancer, Tim. When a cancer starts on anybody, it just blow up one time. It comes by sometimes years upon years, and all the time you have that. And when it blow up, it's too late. Doctor cannot do nothing for you. That's why doctors and medical officials encourage people, especially ladies, to get a pap test and all these cancer tests every year. So that at the beginning of that, if you detect anything, you will have a very, very good chance of stopping it. But we have not done that. And look at what we pay for our schools now. Because we let the cancer grow, and that's the results we are reaping now. When you look at it, we are seeing that unity is far from us, very far. And we are not learning, Tim. Tim, life is very, very, very strange. You get up day to day, You tell your wife or whatever you're going to work, you will see her later. Sometimes you never see her. Sometimes you might see her, but you're in a corner, you can't do nothing for yourself. We see that happening, and still we don't learn from these things. We think that we have our lives, our future in our own hands. And Tim, as I say, I know you have a short time, and I will just, somewhat stop there. And I want to say one more thing. Tim, the problems we have now is people are compromising. People are scared to speak. People are scared to stand for what is just. And I'm not hitting Christians. I'm a Christian myself, and thank God. Like a lot of Christians are saying, let's pray, let's pray. I'll always say prayer is extremely good. But we must realize that God, as human beings, gives us responsibilities. That's why there's a government. That's why there's a police force. That's why there are churches. Because God has given mankind certain responsibility. God said it's laid before us evil and good. And he tells us to choose good. That's responsibility. Whatsoever a man soever does shall he also reap. That's responsibility. Now, because I don't know what we can do, to tell you the truth. Now we go, like, just for instance, I wanted to elaborate on that some time ago. We go to CCJ. Now, I'm against that 1 billion%. I prefer to go to Privy Council because the former money to go to CCJ and Privy Council. Caribbean is all corrupt already. Why don't we see about our local court system properly and so on? Have lawyers that people don't stay remain with all type of length of years and so on. Why don't we see about our home first and then we go? The scripture says, and I hope everybody, and I'll close with that, the Bible says, if a man cannot take care of his home, he has no right to take any position in the church, in government, nowhere. Because if you can't control your own home, what are you going to do in authority outside your home? I want people to think about that. Tim boy, take care of Kemani and take care of yourself. God bless you.
And take care of the sister as well, Brother Harris.
You don't have to say that twice. That's between me and God, okay?
Okay, Brother Harris.
Take care. Thanks.
Thank you so much. In the chat room, somebody says that in response to somebody lamenting that, we on the road to becoming, a failed state like Haiti. In the chat room, somebody says, when we're like Haiti, Haiti will send a delegation led by Dr. Kenny Anthony to see what they can do. You had this one?
Yes.
Okay. What's happening in the chat room, Kibani?
Someone says, call us St. Lucia is not serious. Our motto is we like to joke. So here it is. Everything is a joke when we should be serious. Another comment, that is an excuse. Parents working in hotel thing is one of my problems. How often you work at nights or weekends? That's what politicians use when they couldn't find solutions to the problem. Tim, enough is enough since when the Speaker of the House asked the media to turn off their cameras so he could do what he has to do with the leader of the opposition. That was not enough, but too much.
It was no media, it was NTN. Yeah.
The young men must find thyself back at church. Someone says they need to bring back the bus system. Bus picks you up at the schoolyard and drops you off near your home. Someone says, some of us parents like to have our kids like they are our friends. Another comment, society turned a blind eye on these situations. Well, Tim, the Ministry of Education needs to act upon the recommendations ASAP because we have a serious problem. This government has no urgency to nothing, and that's sad. We are too slow to implement. Tim, the criminals might be taking a page from the book and acting like the bullies in the house. We need to go back to the days of having community groups. Ministry of Education should train staff on gang identification. Our police department should also be better equipped to handle their day-to-day duties. And most importantly, our judicial system should be fair and operating smoothly, which we all know does not happen. And in the chat, a few more comments. Someone says, we need educational reform. Take a look at the Japanese model. The focus of most of a child's life in school is based on instilling discipline and not academics. Most Oriental societies use the exact model. These same economies are the most advanced in the world. We do not need to reinvent the wheel.
What's a message? Tim, I'm picking up clouds on the ground because guess what? The sky has fallen. Shaking my head. Any more comments? All right. Thank you so much, Kimani. Let me turn my attention now to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Raleigh, on the heels of a meeting of CARICOM heads just recently. I think it's still on the way over in Guyana. Crime and security, one of the issues that would have been discussed. And the Prime Minister took the opportunity yesterday during a press conference to speak about successes recorded so far in a collaborative effort involving CARICOM and the United States in trying to prevent guns entering our shores from the U.S.
On the question of fighting against illicit trafficking in arms, this was the report that came to CARICOM from what we have been doing at that level. And it says, the threat posed by illicit trade in firearms in CARICOM remains very high, and in many countries, the acquisition of and use of high-powered weapons have increased. This is the CARICOM position. With the operational establishment of the Crime Gun Intelligence Unit, because we did form that last year, a Crime Gun Intelligence Unit. There has been an increase of information and intelligence sharing between the authorities in CARICOM member states and the United States of America, and the establishment of trends through information and greater awareness in dealing with trafficking in what we call crime guns, which is guns occupied illegally, obtained illegally, and being used to commit crimes in the country. The Crime Gun Intelligence Unit, which involves CARICOM and United States assets, have undertaken and are continuing to undertake the following activities. We did have an operation called Operation Hammerhead. This operation had as its primary objective the interdiction of firearms moving into Trinidad and Tobago and the wider region, as well as the effective disruption and acquisition of pertinent operational intelligence to strategically reduce illicit trade of weapons across the Caribbean. It was a 3-week exercise that we did, and this exercise started on the 11th of September 2023, and it was largely encouraged and driven from Homeland Security United States. And that agency, working alongside CARICOM Impacts, we had some interactions and sharing of personnel and data with various task forces from the United States. And while the operation has been completed, activities have been normalized and continue remotely for the region. And based on the continued activities as of 10th January 2024, we can tell you the following. This approach, this activity, in conjunction with the U.S. authorities and their agencies, we have assessed 600,000 packages that were destined for CARICOM. 600,000 packages have been given increased scrutiny. Of that, 4,600 were deemed to require enhanced inspection. 4,600 items heading our way that required greater attention. Out of that exercise came the seizure of 318 firearms, 348 magazines, and 19,270 rounds of ammunition heading our way, more than likely would have landed in our territories without this exercise. And one can only envisage what that would have added to the horror that we are already experiencing. As a result of that, exercise and the way we've gone ahead as of January, we initiated and supported 25 international firearms trafficking cases, and indictments and arrests are anticipated for several persons in the United States. So the point we're making here is that there is a positive outcome to be had by working alongside the United States at the source end of the supply of the guns and the ammunition. Because those figures I call out to you there, that is not what we picked up here, or even the water. At that other end, that was destined for us. And we also have been working quite hard on training to improve the quality of our personnel. One of the reports that we've had, both at home and abroad, is the high failure rate of our personnel when tested to measure up to the kind of standards that we require if we are going to have the quality of security service that is required to respond to this. And in collaboration with Impacts and the other entities, we're being told by Impacts that the threat posed by unsecured weapons and obsolete weapons is a serious one within our borders. And we in Trinidad and Tobago have completed our assessment of those kinds of weapons that exist in the country and would be clearing out much of them because our exercise is over. The other countries like Bahamas, Guyana, St. Lucia, and Suriname, they too are now doing that, which is trying to reduce the threat from unsecured weapons and obsolete weapons which exist in the country. And this is being funded for us by the government of the United Kingdom. And of course, there are still challenges such as countries needing to increase their levels of firearm tracing, as well as the technical skills to establish the serial number on firearms, that restoration of serial numbers, evidence handling, crime scene investigation, and firearm component parts training. All of these are things that we have to increase our ability to deal with if we are to effectively respond to the threat that arms and ammunition pose to our populations.
The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, speaking yesterday during a press conference. Finally from us, our NewsSpin news of the day. French Senate votes to make abortion a constitutional freedom. French Senate votes to make abortion a constitutional freedom. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin. Goodbye.